right, if you've stuck around, you've heard me just talk a little bit about my health journey with my husband and why I'm really excited about helping other people with this journey as well. So Mark is here with me now, and I'm super excited to get talking to him about a little bit more about the accountability partnership that we had with our health journey. But excited to have him on a guest on Just Nicole, Life Changes After 40. So welcome.
Thank you.
All right, well, like we just shared, for Mark and I, back in 2020, we both were feeling super unhealthy, fat, miserable, both kind of looking at options for medications at the time with blood pressure, cholesterol, and, you know, all the things. Looking at pictures of each other going, when did this happen? How did we get so fat and healthy and tired of it, right? So looking into this program and deciding together as a team to do it together. And I think a lot of husband and wives, you know, maybe aren't on the same page when it comes to health journeys. So I think for us, making the decision to do this together was important. I think we could do it individually, but doing it together was probably easier. So for the people who are listening, just kind of want to talk about the accountability piece of it and why you felt like it was something that we should do together and why you yourself wanted to take control of your health.
Well, like Nicole said, we were to the point in our life where we were both busy and active, but we didn't eat very well. When we worked together, it seemed like we were always going out to eat at noon together, and we were never eating very good, just because we were in a hurry and it was convenient. And we got to a point where we looked in the mirror and it's like, oh, geez, we're kind of fat and lazy. And I guess for me it was, I do a lot of driving, and I was just having a hard time staying awake when I was driving down the road. And I just felt that, you know, with COVID kind of shutting us down, we have this opportunity to do this together, because it's not something that one person can do. I mean, they probably can, but it's easier for two people to do it. And so I agreed that, yeah, we would do this Vital Life. Didn't know anything about it. But I quickly learned on our first visit that I was fairly unhealthy, and I was probably, 50 something at that time, late 40s, early 50s. And my metabolic age was 90?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm not 90. And so I agreed that we should do this, and we did. And it was tough. It was really tough at first. I could have probably tore somebody's head off just because the way we had to change our diet and our lifestyle. But we made it through, and I'm glad we did, because the change in lifestyle, how we felt, what was really neat for me was I had to get all new clothes because all my clothes that I was wearing before were way too big.
Yeah.
Had to put an extra couple holes in my belt so my belt would fit. But the biggest thing was how you felt, how much energy you had. You know, I noticed that I wasn't tired anymore. I had a lot of energy. I have some young guys that work for me that, you know, I always tell them that since I've been on this Vital Life that I think I'm in better shape than you are. I think I could outwork them 7 days a week, and I believe that. So I think just the whole change in how you feel, your energy level, how you sleep at night. I noticed that before we started doing this, I was always waking up at night. Once we got on this program and kind of healed our body and cleansed our body of what was causing issues, just noticed that sleep was better.
I remember you always complaining because your fingers would be numb, things would fall asleep.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's kind of a way that inflammation was attacking your body, because inflammation presents itself in so many different ways. I hear that a lot with people that, you know, I'm sleeping better, I can breathe better, I can taste, you know, all the inflammation that comes in our face, fingers, toes, all the body, you know, different parts of the body that react differently. But, you know, you talk about the metabolic age being at 90. And I think the other thing is the visceral fat that people don't really think about. That's the amount of fat that's in our body outside of the subcutaneous layer. Subcutaneous layer is fat we need. Our body needs fat. But visceral fat is in and around all those organs. And I remember your visceral fat being super high. And I think that that's, for men or women, I think that's super important to look at. I feel like men carry a lot of their weight in more of the stomach region, around the heart and those vital organs. It's like a heart attack waiting to happen. You know, a man of your age and your height having visceral fat as high as it was, you know, could have had a heart attack, you know? So.
Yeah. And I didn't feel bad. I mean, I felt as healthy as I need to be for my age. And I felt like I was the right physique for my height, but when I got scanned or whatever you call that, you know, I was classified as obese, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be obese. Which, you know, it your health is important, I guess. I was never one that ever exercised. I just don't exercise.
You're very active, though.
Well, I'm active, but you know, exercise alone doesn't you might be able to tone your body or lose some weight, but the key with this was to heal our body and feel better and make it long term, that, you know, we lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds, but then we gain it right back. And the first time we did that, because we weren't, I guess, properly,
well, during COVID we couldn't go back and finish the plan.
So, you know, we did kind of gain the weight back the first time.
A little bit.
We could tell that, you know, once we got to that point again where we were not feeling well, not feeling as well as we had before, not eating as well as we were before, we were smart enough to realize that we should probably do this again.
Right. And I think that that's super important to kind of mention more on, like, so many diets that are currently out there, you lose weight, whether it's quickly or over time, because you're doing something differently, whether it's eating less, maybe doing these pills or shots or whatever is the fad right now, but then you gain it right back and then some. And not being able to complete the plan the way we're supposed to, we found that to be true. So
I never did really look at this as a weight loss deal. I mean, we did, but the biggest thing was how you felt.
Yeah.
You know, like I said before, energy level, just better sleep, just better all around health was more important to me than the weight loss. And it was good to lose the weight because that's part of it. But, you know,
being able to, this is something I mentioned earlier, is that you can be thin, but be very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And so being able to learn how to eat, fuel your body the way it's intended to be fueled. You know, all the foods that are processed now, our bodies don't know what to do with it because it's toxic. It wasn't created for our bodies to metabolize, and so it gets inflamed. Our bodies are inflamed because of the food we're eating, and so many people feel sick on a daily basis, and our gut health is so important. I mean, the gut controls everything, and if you're feeding it all these foods that we don't know how to process, our guts get inflamed, our memory is foggy, our joints ache, everything hurts, and we're sick. And so importance of healing our body, I think, is more important than the weight loss 100%.
Yeah. So I guess back to your question was what again?
Well, I mean, that I just really wanted kind of your feeling on the plan itself, but then also, you know, you had mentioned as a couple, for us, it was easier to do it together. And like I said, somebody could do this by themselves. It's a lot easier, though, to have an accountability partner. And so for me, you know, I loved that you were willing to do this with me, and, you know, and then now kind of support me through helping other people do it as well. And I feel like you also share your knowledge with a lot of people who see you and like, wow, what did you do? Because if we love somebody, we want to help them, right? There's so many things that can happen in our futures that we're going to miss if we're not here because of our health. And there's a lot of importance in healing your body and knowing what to eat, and all that. But but the accountability, having each other, working together, planning meals together, helping each other when, I remember in the beginning too, I had a soda addiction. And when you are, ridding your body of sugar, which is super addictive, we could get kind of crabby. And like, what did you say? You wanted to kill somebody? Like, that's kind of how it feels.
But that was short term.
It was short term.
That was not very long.
No.
Just a couple days is all.
Mm-hmm. But it is kind of funny because it's very true. But yeah, I think having an accountability partner, and if it's not a spouse, because the spouse isn't somebody who wants to do this, find a best friend or, somebody who can kind of help you and guide you through this and help you with your health journey, because without healing your body, you're going to miss a lot of things.
Yeah. And, one thing that we haven't really talked about, and, when we went the second time, I believe, to restart, to redo another phase, neither one of us are on any medication, high blood pressure, anything like that. I have a history of high blood pressure and cholesterol in my family. I guess I felt I didn't want to have to be on blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication. Being the youngest of 9, I guess I just have seen my mom and dad and my older siblings, struggle with that. And I assumed that I would be that way too. And I guess that was one reason why I felt this was important to do, because I didn't want to have them issues.
Right.
And I don't think I do. I have never had high blood pressure, cholesterol.
Yeah, you were borderline having to go on one medication. I can't remember what it was, but
that was before we did this
right.
Vitalife. And, I'm certainly not one to say that this is the end-all, cure-all for people, because it's not for everybody. But I think if you can maintain your health and eat right and not be overweight and sluggish, that certainly those things like blood pressure and cholesterol will be not an issue.
Right. I think gut health, heart health, there's so many things that can happen in the negative because of the foods that we eat. And a lot of people put Band-Aids on everything that's going on in their bodies by taking medication that maybe isn't necessary. Obviously, blood pressure, cholesterol, it's necessary when you need it. But if you can change your diet, you can heal your body and get off those medications, then obviously that's the end goal. And it was for us. I didn't want to be on medication for my autoimmune disease, and decided that if I wanted to get healthy, I needed to change my diet. And again, when we redid this back in January of 23, that's where I was at. Again, I was feeling all the symptoms of that autoimmune disease coming back. And, that's something that kind of worries me too, because I remember, I don't know what year it was, but there was this HCG diet that was going around. Everybody was doing it. And I thought, oh, I need to lose weight. I'm going to try that. And I very strongly believe that that's what triggered my autoimmune disease. I feel like a lot of people carry that stuff inside of their body, and it just takes something to kind of kickstart it. And so I'm very cautious now about trying pills or, anything. And so I was reluctant when we first heard about this program, because I had heard about it from a customer in the boutique long before we even started it. And, do we really want to try something that isn't whatever? But learning and knowing what I know today, and knowing that it really is a lifestyle change, the benefit of weight loss, but learning how to eat, learning how to read labels, learning how to understand when you go out to eat, if you need to, how to order better. Like, there's so many things that we've learned to live a lifestyle like this, for a long time. And I also want to say too, we still indulge. We still, have a cheeseburger and fries and drink beer and do things, but it's in moderation. And I think for a lot of people, they think that they can just eat like crap all the time and, it's going to work. Well, that's obviously not.
The other nice thing about this program is that if you do fall off the wagon, and revert back to your old habits, that you have the knowledge of what you need to do to reset yourself and get back to where you want to be. It's not, a total failure if you know, fall off the wagon and have to completely start over once you've done it, you know what you need to put in your body and what you need, how you need to eat, that you can quickly get back to where you're feeling the way you want to feel again.
Yep. Mark had a little extra fun,
simply as eating, you know, the way your body needs you to eat.
Right. Because the holidays were a little, I don't want to say challenging. You just enjoyed the holidays a little bit more. And so we talked last week and you're like, I'm going to reset and get to feeling better again. And I think that that's awesome because it's really that simple. Learning which proteins, fruits, and vegetables your body needs and making sure that you're fueling it again. So, and that's the one thing that's really cool about this program is that the Zyto scan, which allows us to see which body, well, not body parts, but organs, which organs of our, in our bodies that aren't working properly and how to heal them. There's detox to detox the inflammation, but then also the food list of which fruits, vegetables, and proteins that our body desires, and even affirmation statements, which a lot of this lifestyle journey is mindset. It's mindset of, you know, I want to be healthy. These are the things I need to tell myself on a daily basis. This is what my body wants to hear, my mind wants to hear. So it really is more about lifestyle, our mindset, and knowing how to treat our bodies so that they last for a long time. You know, one of the things that I hear a lot with clients that I've talked to is eating healthy is so hard because it's so expensive. And, you know, for us, I laughed that one time because I hadn't stepped into the pantry for 40 days because everything we needed was fresh or frozen in the refrigerator. But it can get expensive to eat healthy. But I think what's super important to remember is how much that coffee is that you drink, or how much that fast food combo meal cost. Like I was doing the math and I mentioned it just a little bit ago, but you could literally go to the grocery store and buy a pound of ground turkey, a head of lettuce, and a bag of frozen cherries and have 2 to 3 servings. So you and I could both eat that for the cost of what one combo meal is. So I feel like a lot of people really need to just look at overall, like, you know, what's the cost of medication? What's the cost of being able to sleep at night? What's the cost of, you know, just not feeling well versus spending that money to go to the grocery store and buy the stuff that's good?
Well, it's just hard for people to change their habits and their ways. I mean, it's like, you know, what's her name, Camille or whatever, said in Grand Island that one time when we were there, you know, there's people that have wanted to change or wanted to do this, but you have to be committed to doing it. And if you're not, you know, she just said it's not, you're not ready to do this yet. And I mean, that's everything from, you know, the food you buy to you have to just want to change how you're doing things and accept that, you know, some things might be hard to do. That excuse of it costs too much to eat healthy, you know, like you said, it costs too much to be in the hospital too, or to be on medication, or to feel lousy every day, unhealthy. So
I'm glad you're my accountability partner. For people who are out there who don't have a spouse or somebody who lives with them, though, I'd really encourage you to just find a friend, find somebody who can help you be accountable, somebody who maybe also needs to get healthy. And be accountability partners to each other, because if there's somebody you love, you want them to live for many years to come, and being healthy is the best gift you can give yourself and to give anybody else that you love. So, well, thanks for being on with me today, and we'll see you at home.
Okay.
Thank you for listening today to Just Nicole Life Changes After 40. If you want to learn more about taking control of your health for 2024, then check out our website at beautifulboutique.net, where you can learn more about the Zyto scan and the VitaLife program, or check out the show notes and you can see all of the social channels where you can find me. Send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Stay tuned to the next episode.